Hey, what's up, fam? Happy Sunday. How y'all feeling?
What's up? Feeling good.
Good, good, good. We got a big week ahead of us with no Fed speakers. So let's just go ahead and hop right into things. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This information is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not reliable for your wins or losses in the market. If you decide to act on this information, let's go ahead and hop into things. All right. So last week, this is the top options flow for Friday and for the week ending 10/25, I believe. Friday was 25th, right? Yeah. So on Friday, the top call options flow went into, well, this is for Friday, for Tesla, Meta, LIN, Apple, and DTJ. Okay. On the flip side, on the put side, they were shorting MSTR, Nvidia, Coin, Google, and WDC. For the week, the top call options flow went into Nvidia, Tesla, Las Vegas Sand, FSLR, CVNA. And on the put side, we had MSTR. Okay, so that was for the week too. Silver. Okay, they're shorting silver now. Bye bye, PDD, and Hood. Okay, let me make a note of PDD really quickly. All right, great. Hop right into things. All right, so let's just go into some of the profits that the team, well, from some of the highlights from some of the members, their profits for last week, man. We had a really big week last week, and I want to give everybody just a round of applause for, the hard work and just for staying with it, sticking with it, and we just had a really good week. So I just wanted to highlight a few. It was too many to include everyone, but we had a lot of people posting their profits, a lot of nice wins. These were from Tesla. Jason, he had a big week on Tesla and made a lot of money. I see he made a lot of money last week. I see Big Drew. Drew always come in here with the big contracts, man. Drew came in, he killed it again last week. He killed Tesla here, as you can see. We had Slick right here with a nice win on Tesla. Turned this $150 into over $1,000. So that was a solid profit right there. All right. So we had Strat Ops in here with the UPS call. Went up 200% on that trade. That was a pretty nice one. Tesla, the 340 into 1460. Nice play. And I see there was one play in here. I just see there was a new member in here who was growing his account, and that was another 1,000+ that went into his account that he's growing. So that's good. A few really nice profits last week. So yeah, again, just a round of applause to everybody. And let's just keep it up, man. We got 4 days left in this month. So are y'all curious to how we are doing for the month of October? So I will say this, right? I know we had a slow September, and September was actually one of the worst months. Well, actually was our worst performing month of the year. I took off the whole first week of September, was dealing with some stuff, so I didn't trade at all. And so we only cleared over, like, I think it was like $3,500 for the month for everybody who just grabbed one option per trade alert. So we only cleared like $3,500 for that month. I mean, for September. So that was our worst performing month, right? So yeah. But we hit the ground running for October, and thus far, we're already at $5,494.75. And this is a net profit. So so this includes all of the losses as well. These are net profits for this particular month. And as you see, like the latest trade that we had, like I had the team cut the Nvidia trade that we got in on Friday. And so we cut that for like an $80 loss. And that trade, so and again, it would have been cut for a lot sooner, for probably for the people who cut it when it broke this trend where I listed for it to break. But what I did, I just took accountability for leaving. When I got back, I don't know who I was talking to, but I told someone, because I couldn't see the screens. I'm like, just hold on to the trade until I get back. And so when I ended up telling the team to cut that trade, we weren't swinging that into next week. it was down like $80. You paid 300 for it, so that's a 26.66% loss on that trade, So yeah, but we cut. So I'm just pointing it out just to say like our net profits are these are net profits. So we over five bands for the month of October, and we're still going. We still got 4 more days left in this month to crush this month, right? And I mean, it's already crushed. And just look at the ROI on this. So from the 250 monthly subscription, you see the ROI for October is already 2100. So sorry, 2197.9. So 2100% ROI on that 250 for the month of October. So it's pretty big for this. And let's just be clear, if we exclude if because I did the math, I wanted to, if we exclude Tesla from this, that's still $4,200 for the month already. You know what I mean? So yeah, big month for October. So yeah, let's keep it going, fam. All right, so lessons learned recap. I can kick things off here because to me, every week there's something I learned something, or there's either a lesson learned or something that I could grow from that happens every week, right? And what I'll say this month is, or for this week, for last week, there was a play that last on Friday, I had it all queued up and ready to call out a Tesla trade for the team. And I ended up doing something else. I ended up getting sidetracked. I think I was just responding to another member or something, and I had already gotten in the trade, but I didn't put the team in it yet because I feel like, I'm not going to say it was too expensive, but we had just had 3 new members join, and I didn't want to, I know I ran this team up all month. So, right, when I see new members join, I pretty much like to be a little more conservative, right? So I jumped into Tesla play as soon as it hit a pivot, right? And but I was waiting for a confirmation before I put the team into play. Ended up getting sidetracked and did not put the team in that trade, and it ended up running like a bat out of hell. This was Friday morning. Now I want to show y'all a chart because the chart will make this make more sense. So I'm just going to switch over just for a quick set. Damn. So yeah, all right, we're in the right screen. I just wanted to make sure. I'm like the whole time I wasn't showing the right screen, but yeah, it was. 1 second. So I'm just going to go over to this NVIDIA chart. Second. I know y'all can't see my screen, so just 1 second. I'm just trying to switch it over. All right. So I'm going to go over to this NVIDIA chart for a second. And I'll go to the session hourly. So let me just tell y'all what I did and what I did wrong. Because, all right, so yeah, so I called out, I didn't alert the Tesla trade. I jumped in the trade and it just started running. And I knew it was and I wanted to put the team in that trade. I had already put the team in the deck trade. And we'll get to that in a second because that's one of the charts I want to cover. So I'm not going to talk about that till we get to the chart. And so this is the session hourly, right? So around that time, and sorry, I'm just trying to pull something up here as I'm speaking about it. Give me a second. All right, there we go. All right, cool. So here, this is so right here. All right. So, all right. So this was the issue with this trade. So yeah, I still wanted to, I just felt a little I wanted the team in a trade because I should have put y'all in that Tesla trade anyway. But again, I felt like it was a little more expensive. And actually, I shouldn't have put y'all in that trade. You know what I always tell my team? If you miss the entry, I didn't miss the entry, but I just wanted to wait for confirmation. And it was a little expensive trade. So no excuses there. But I still wanted to put y'all in something else. So what I did, I waited until NVIDIA closed over this or at, like once to see if this candle was going to give us a continuation first. So we got this big breakout here that I missed because I was, we were playing Tesla and we were playing deck, and I had like 3 earnings trades that I was in, and so I waited for this candle to close. It bounced off of VWAP, came back up and reclaimed this to support area because remember it was having resistance here, got back over here. This is what I was looking at, but I was also looking like this could possibly be a double top also, this area. So anyway, I ended up calling out the trade. It started to move a little bit. It went up like 15%, but I don't count any trades that, for the most part, I don't count trades unless they go at least I don't count no 10% trades and stuff like that. So look, so it went up here and this candle closed, it ended up holding up. So I'm like, okay, as long as it hold, I let the team know as long as Nvidia holds this area, this level here, it's still in play and it's okay to trade. But where two things. Number one, I probably still shouldn't have alerted this trade because yeah, I just probably shouldn't have alerted that trade. We were already in another trade and we ain't need to be in that trade. But I just felt like we could get back to the all-time high. That's where it was headed. Then we got the market just started to correct. Now, which we found out later on, after the market closed, that it was related to some war stuff that the market knew about in advance and everything broke down. But I went and took lunch and did some things, ran some errands or whatever. But I made sure I let the team know as long as it holds this level, it's in play. If it loses this level, it's no longer in play. It needs to be cut. Now, so my lessons learned with this is I had new members who joined on Thursday and Friday. And although we got, like our prerequisites and stuff like that, everybody's not reading that stuff. Some people just jumping right in the trade. So if in a situation where I know I got new members joining and and it's a and I know I'm a step away for a second, this isn't going to be enough, so and there now I go back and forth with this one a lot and I like to hear y'all feedback on it because it's like, okay, I knew I had to leave because I had to run some errands, I had to go do some things with my mom and stuff, so I planned to be back before the market closed. But in the past, members have responded well to the levels, like, okay, it gives you some feedback, it gives you some indicators to look at. Like if the trade breaks this level, then to cut it. I'm telling you, put a price alert here, give yourself some margin, because in a situation like this, my margin would have been VWAP or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I would have gave up so little margin because they like to hunt stops. But whatever. But my lesson learned is if we do got some new members join, and I have to step away, just telling them, okay, well, cut it if it lose this ain't gonna suffice. I'd rather not alert the trade at all, because what ended up happening was um some people stayed into a trade that that kind of broke down, and and it ended up being a cool thing. It ended up being okay, but the whole point is, what if it was a meta trade? What if it was something bigger, that like a Netflix trade, or Meta and Netflix? Those contracts are pretty expensive. So yeah, I just want to, so how do y'all feel about that, in terms of like just the members? uh so in situations like that, pretty much we'll run the risk of missing a big play if I have to step away after alerting the trade, because I'd rather do that than to have some new members exposed to some things where they, and take a loss if they're not really understanding or paying attention or asking a question. So for example, in this trade, we knew the target, because people say, okay, well, where do I take profit? I alerted the trade, told you exactly what the entry is, what the entry price was, and told everybody exactly where to get in. The target is 144.42. I posted the chart. You know what I mean? I posted the chart with the level too. If it break this level, then that's where you cut the trade at. And how do y'all feel about that? I mean, how do the team feel about that?
Personally, I appreciate it a lot, and it does help me. I think I did this Friday. I had trouble with cutting the video because it started with me just giving it a little bit extra margin, and then that margin ended up turning into hope. But that's not your fault, like, because it still helps. Usually, I do cut the tree when you give those levels, so I appreciate them for sure. And I think it helps also with having the not just the level, but the whole chart, knowing the targets and everything.
Okay, okay, okay. What you was about to say something, KK?
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, I agree with J Rock. The chart is there. If there's a level, and I think kudos to our community that people will definitely speak out and say, "Hey, it broke this level," and that's the level that's on the chart that Antoine posted. So, we as members of the community have to hold ourselves accountable, especially if you are a new member. Um, so I think everything that you have done is perfect as far as providing the chart, providing the levels, letting people know where to cut. If it goes under this line, you cut the trade. if you're not well versed in trading, then you don't take those chances. You follow those directions, and that'll just help you to build your account and to, and then it'll teach you also where to, there's always times where you're like, oh, I'm a, like J Rock said, I'm gonna give a little margin, and then margin, boom, like one candle can change everything. And now you're trying to hope that it'll come back. So I just think, just following the directions that's given to you is just going to be priceless to building you as a trader.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Now, I have one other question for you while you're talking. So, in terms of deciding, opting not to alert a trade, because we have, if like on a day, certain days where I don't trade typically, and or where I go play tennis or something like that. Let's say we have a good trade, a possible trade that comes out, and I know that typically that I'm not going to be around to handhold that day after alerting the trade, after and I'll make sure it take off and it does what it needs to do first. I know it's going where it's going. But I'm like, in the event that it breaks down, this is the structure and this is where you have to cut the trade. You know, how do you feel about me not alerting trades on those days at all because of the risk of what could possibly happen if a person isn't really, you know, ready and they're still jumping into trades?
Um, I that's goodness. It's such a gray area because there's so many skilled traders in the group that are going to follow the directions, that are going to do that. And the most I think extra that you could do is when you're alerting that trade, like, I'm not going to be around. I suggest if it hits this level, you cut the trade. I don't ever want to say don't call out the trades. However, if you didn't call out the trade, it wouldn't, I don't think that will affect our margins and profits in any way. Where if you was like, you know what, I know I'm not going to be here, this could take off, but I don't really want to put the team in that situation, because I have to think about everybody on the team, then I would rather you not call out the trade. I don't think that's going to make us be in a situation where, oh, now we didn't make any money because he didn't call out this one trade. Because some days you might call out no trades, and then some days you might call out 4 trades. So I think it all balances out. So you picking and choosing, I mean, I trust your judgment.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, cool. Yeah, no,
I've
I
got a
like that. Yeah. Sorry. I think it was Clement that had his hand up first. Let me just hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I agree with KK. She literally said what I was about to say. I know you don't just throw out trades just for us to lose money. I know you got research, market structure, price action behind your reason why you gave us a trade. So I'd rather you call it out and then we just follow pretty much what you said. So I know there's a gray area like KK said, but I know maybe you could say I don't want to say one trader is more skillful than the other, but it just depends on, like, I don't know, but I do see the gray area what KK is talking about. But for me, I'd rather you alert the trade because I know once it hit a 30% loss for me, I'm out. So that's
See,
pretty
I
much
like that. You got your own risk management parameters in place. Now, I do want to say something before I let Potato Trader speak, because I definitely want to hear what he has to say. And I see you too, J Rock, and I want to let you finish too, Clement. But I do want to add that I asked this question for a reason, because now this becomes where the camaraderie and the brotherhood, sisterhood part of the group comes into play. Because think about it, like, in the military, the reason they say if one person don't make up their bed, then everybody got to do push-ups, because it's like it teaches you, it gives you it gets you in a mindset of looking out for your brothers and sisters to make sure that they okay. So if y'all in combat and one of y'all fall, you're gonna be looking to make sure everybody's there, because you conditioned to do so, right? So I'm asking that question because it's like, damn, in a way it's like, damn, if they don't follow instructions, and not even if they don't follow instructions, if they're not up to par where they're ready for certain things yet, then if I'm seeing more of our team members in the group, like, okay, well, this is where he said to cut the trade, or this is what we're doing, or it just hit the price target, I'm taking profit. If I see more of that, then I'll feel more comfortable walking away in a situation where I know that the trade already is doing what it needs to do. And I know I'm not cutting it yet, because the only problem that I have with situations like that, let's say a trade starts to pull back a little bit. And if you jumped in too late into the trade, later than where it was supposed to be jumped in, even if it's something that's going the way it's supposed to go, if I call out, most of my trades get called out at support or resistance. So, or if we, where resistance turns into new support, wait for a retest, call out a trade. It's something that's always at a floor or a ceiling, depending on whether it's a call or a put, to give that trade time to grow into what it needs to grow into, right? And a lot of times people will miss the alerts. So let's say hypothetically for this trade, just using this as an example, if that's the price target, I called it out here. And then someone sees it running up here, and then by the time I get to 30%, then they jump into the trade. And then when it comes down to retest, for the most part, it should hold this. You may even get somewhere, you get some wicks where the candle come back down, but it comes back up and reclaims this area. But they're already in shambles because they jumped in too late. And so whatever 30% margin risk tolerance that they have in place, or whatever risk management strategies or whatever, it it's already kicked in at that point, because it's entry is everything in this. So what I'm looking for now is, if y'all want me to continue to do that in days, because like KK said, it's not going to affect our totals overall. Like, we could have lived without that Nvidia trade, but considering that I was still in Tesla and and whatever. But yeah, so if y'all want that, then like, just look out. We gotta look out for the members too. Y'all can't just sit quiet when something breaks down. And if a member comes in, because shout out to the new member for actually speaking up in the chat and saying what they had to say. But it's like, if I'm not around and someone asks a question, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna evaluate this whole situation, because I'm always looking at the whole chessboard. So I'm gonna come back and say, you know what? Like, my reputation is on the line. I'd rather just not alert this trade at all if I'm a step away on a certain day, when I know that I wouldn't typically trade on this day anyway. And I didn't plan on trading Friday because we were in those earnings trades, you know what I'm saying? And then I already planned on calling out deck that morning anyway. And so that was going to be it. But so when you consider all of those things, right? And look at, just things in totality, so like, that was a trade that we ended up getting into that wouldn't have been called, and it wouldn't have hurt us if it didn't get called, because we already up over almost $6,000, well, closer to 5,500 this month. And so, yeah, but I'm just saying, I want to see more of the team just, speak up. And if you see a member like they need some help and I'm not there, then and the answer or what I said, that'd be a good time to come in and say something, because then okay, cool. If I ain't paying, what I always say, if I'm not paying attention, we all crash and burn. So if y'all want the extra credit that I can actually do, because it's a lot of times where the market run like a bat out of hell on a Wednesday or a Monday, and I'm off playing tennis on a Monday, and I saw it that morning. I'm like, but you know what? I ain't alert the trade because I wasn't gonna be around, and I wasn't gonna have my phone in my hand, and I could have put everything in place, but then I come back and everything is, you know what I mean? Is no one has said anything, besides KK or Jazz or some, you know what I mean? It's just like, so I'm looking forward to kind of be one of those things. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. But yeah, so I just that's all I wanted to say about that. So just we want to make sure that we doing that too, because again, like I said, we could, less is more in trading, but I just wanted to kind of just throw that out there. So if there are certain days where I opt not to, because, hey, what's up, Kevin? My bad.
Yeah, and I just had a little bit of a suggestion, because I know it's like, with situations like that, the people that can control their trades, and they know what they're doing, they do kind of suffer a bit. Like, they don't really get to really maximize on their profits potentially, because we may be more worried about new members doing what they're not supposed to do. But what I was going to suggest, I mean, and I know you know your members better than anyone. You could probably choose the members that you could take on the most dangerous of missions, right? And I mean, you could just
Ooh, I like
send
what
out
you
an alert, simply to those members.
Ooh.
Hell, you can make like a group DM and just have those particular members in there, and you can call it out there for the mission at hand. I mean, when you guys are talking about the trades and conspiring about what the heck is going on in the market, you would post strictly there so that you don't mislead the new members.
Got you. No, that makes sense. And then once the new members shown, like, okay, yeah, I went through the how-to guide. Yeah, I understand the basics of how all these things work. Then they can get those more advanced trades.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. Because then it makes it kind of motivates them to go do what they're supposed to do. Because nobody should be getting in any trades without reading the how-to guide first. Because and that's just gonna really it's because think about it. Everything that's in there is not a lot of information. But like if you start a new job, like even if the job is paying like $10 an hour, they're gonna make you go through orientation, and you're not gonna get paid for orientation. Well, we probably will 2 weeks later, whenever they give you your first check, but they're gonna make you go through hours of orientation and reading and going through things when all you could take 15 minutes and go through the whole how-to guide, or I'll say 20 minutes because of the video, and you'll be up to par, know exactly where everything is, what channels to mute. So you're not, because what I'll get a lot is, well, I missed the alert because there was so much noise going on in the chat. I'm like, well, see, if you followed the how-to guide, you would have muted everything except for these 4 channels right here, and you wouldn't have gotten any other alerts. You know what I'm saying? Or you would have known that this was here and this is here, and you wouldn't have been in that situation. So yeah, just follow the steps, but yeah, I like that. Because we've been trying to do something like that, but it's kind of hard to. I'm not going to say it's kind of hard, because it's not kind of hard, just like how we did with earnings or whatever, with having the earnings and stuff like that. So I get it. I get it. And that's a great idea. That's a great idea. J Rock, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I only put it down because I think the last 3-4 responses kind of touched on it perfectly, and I think Potato Trader kind of hit it on the money where he was saying instead of creating a DM, maybe just do it like another channel, like a lock channel, like the engagement channel, maybe that the people who you have seen consistent profits from over and over. Because I think I'm even a part of the new trader people who would like to be catered to, but you cater to us all the time. So I think he hit it on the money where you kind of can overly cater to us. So it would make more sense to not make everybody else suffer who's killing it day in and day out.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. I like that. All right, cool. Now, before I move on, do anybody have any lessons learned or recap, anything they want to recap, even if it's just a tip, something you want to share, something that may have helped you, or something that may help somebody else, anything?
For me, it would just be stick to the strategy and the structure. Because, like I said, Friday I ended up, gave it too much margin, and the margin ended up turning into hope, and I lost more money than I should have just from, banging off a hope rather than the actual structure.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna tell you this though, because then I looked at the Tesla trade, right? Because I told all of y'all pre-market, and I wasn't getting on Zoom purposely because it was a lot going on, number one, but I made sure I was very clear that Tesla wanted 250, and that if it opened over a certain amount, that it was going to 250. And I see a few people cut those trades extremely early. So what I'm gonna tell y'all is this: you can't say that, oh, because like we'll cut our runners quickly and we'll let our losers run. It's backwards. You know what I mean? If your coach telling you like this thing got momentum, I just didn't want y'all to be sitting around waiting for me to alert anything else at market open, because I wanted to kind of to I wanted to take a break, because I ran the team up. I laid that whole play out on a platter for the whole group, wrote everything down, gave y'all an opportunity to even take that, to take some profits before the print, and then we kind of set everything up. Everything was rolled out, and then the thing that I didn't see in the chat, and I never see, are questions like, well, do you still think it's going to 250? Do you think this is happening? And then I see a shout out to Brian. He's not here right now, but and shout out to Jason. He's not here right now either. Jason sold his original play, but he still sold that one for like 14 something. And then, after he sold that one for 14, he jumped in and played the rest of the move. Because I told you, I said once it broke out of this, once it had that open range breakout, it was going. It was gone. And that's what it did. So but the thing is, I'm always looking for questions. I'm looking for engagement. So but when you can't say, well, I held it too long and I should have did this and I should have did that. First thing, every play is different. Every play is different. But as far as cutting a loss, you got to cut that trade. You know what I'm saying? Set that limit and cut that trade because it's like if I feel like this with losses, if you're trading like a business, that means it has to come with the losses too. So if I'm like, okay, put this line here and put a margin and put a stop loss under like a little margin, but you can't decide the margin. You got to put it where it needs to go and let the computer make the move for you. You can't do it because you're gonna keep moving the margin. And that's what typically happens. And then it's like, well, damn, I should have just cut it here. And that little loss should have just been what it is. And I feel like, cutting it for where, if it was cut earlier, then where I said to cut, then that would have been cool. But on the win side, if I said Tesla going to 250 and it never gave any vibe that it was going to do anything else other than go to 250 once the market opened, I even came back in there and posted the chart. So I'm just like just securing a profit really quickly. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying because there would be some trades where I'm looking at the market like, you know what, this earnings. And remember, I tell y'all, I like to read though. I like to listen to the earnings calls. I'm listening to these earnings calls because I want to hear what the real vibe is. I want to hear if there are any headwinds or if there are any tailwinds. I want to hear like, can they stand behind this guidance for real? And if the CFO going to say it with his chest, like what are they really seeing? Like what actually happened? Did they actually beat? And if they beat by this, like sometimes you'll have a miss, but then the guidance will say something different. That'll determine the sentiment and how that stock is going to technically, how that stock will move. I mean, I'm sorry. Sometimes when the market opens, so sometimes you may see a stock pulling back because consumer confidence came out at 10 a.m. or something like that, and or we had a CPI or some economic data in a pre-market that kind of caused the market to do certain things and to pull the stock back a little bit, but it's holding levels. I'm like, oh no, this is about to take off. Did you hear that? Did you hear what they said? Did you see? You know what I mean? And then you can also just monitoring the flows, different things where you got to make that decision. But just because something happened, you're in a totally different play that had nothing to do with this one, deciding well, I'm gonna cut this trade at the open or take profit at the open on this one because the last trade I was in, that was a totally different stock with totally different margins, totally different sector and everything, totally different earnings, totally different market sentiment, totally different day of the week, everything. Because that happened with that, I'm gonna take profit on this one really quickly. No, I gotta be, everything is case by case. And yeah, so I'm saying, and if you're gonna be the type that's gonna take the profit quickly on a winner, I need you to cut those losses even quicker. Because we can't do that. We can't do that. So I just need us to do that. And if anybody is typing in the chat, I can't read that chat. So yeah, you got to unmute so I can hear you because I got the screens.
Side just was clapping. That's all.
No, somebody's typing in the actual chat. So.
Oh, in the big chat.
Yeah, so I
He
can't.
wanted to go over risk management a little bit, Abbott via Zoom.
I mean, does he have a specific question about something? Because I mean, because if you read the how-to guide, I got a whole section on risk management. So, that's something that, I got a whole little section on risk management. So
that was my only advice.
Yeah, because
my tidbit is to
he
just go over that and really, really live by that in the trading checklist because those things will definitely change your game.
Yeah, and I'm also gonna throw another tip out there because I got a few charts that we're gonna go over. I know that's what everybody waiting on anyway, getting to the economic data and everything, all the big stuff. But this is important because every week we're gonna stand behind it, like whether it's a win or a loss, because people like to say, oh, well, all they just talking about wins or whatever. No, that whenever there's a lessons learned on here, I'm front and center, and we're gonna talk about those lessons learned because that's how we're gonna make the most money by learning from our mistakes and getting what we need to do. So. Yeah, that's what we're doing. But yeah, but I wanted to say this. There's no shortcuts to this. Like if you want a shortcut, the quickest way to get yourself up to par, book a one-on-one. You can book a one-on-one coaching. You can do that. You can there's really no speed up. Like a coaching is obviously it's gonna help you out, but skipping the not doing the how-to guide is going to rub me the wrong way. I'm just going to let you know, because like this is what I do. Like this is my full time. It's not, I don't look at this as a job. I actually love what I do. Like instead of playing or instead of watching Netflix, you feel me? I'm gonna be up looking at charts, instead of everything I'm doing, it's about something with the market because I love it. That's cool. I'm passionate about this. So it's like if you're a football player or whatever, and you passionate about that, and you got the friend that's playing and he's on a team, but he say he's serious, but he never wears cleats to practice, and he's not looking at the playbook. He don't know about. He's always asking questions when it's time for the game to start. He's not really doing what he's supposed to do. So it's going to kind of like throw the team off a little bit. So yeah, you can make a lot of money here, but it takes but 30. I tell you, you can go through the whole how-to guide and probably like if you take your time with it, probably like an hour, like just because you really want to go through it, but you could probably get through it quicker than that. But yeah, like because if you're just asking a general question like cover risk management, I'm like, well, what do you mean cover risk management? And so yeah, that's just one of those things where we want to really make sure that yeah, can go over risk management. So that's what I'm saying. Like I literally got like I went over that and got a lot of stuff on it. So I just don't want you to skip nothing, because anything I tell you, it's like that's a broad statement, but all of the stuff that you need to focus on to kind of get you started, like risk management and all of that, that's the adding and subtracting of this. You know what I mean? You can't jump to multiplication without knowing adding and subtracting, because when I'm talking to that main chat and putting those price levels up there, I'm expecting for you to already know how to add and subtract, because that was one of the prerequisites in the how-to guide. So you can't skip that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you, like I said, you already got me talking about not alerting certain trades on certain days of the week when I'm not around, is because I got people, no disrespect to you, being reckless and just ready to jump into a trade and not knowing how to swim. And to me, if you blow your account and leave this group, that to me, like even if everything was told and I tell you to do everything right, that can still be spent as my fault. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's my reputation. So, like I said last week, I'd rather issue refunds than to have you do that. You know what I'm saying? So if you serious about this, go through that how-to guide today. And because it's risk management is covered like in depth, you know what I mean? And it's not a whole lot of stuff to go through. So just yeah, that's not, yeah. So like I said, if there was a specific trade that I was going over, something specific that, then I'll answer any question about a specific trade, but this ain't like it's so many recordings on risk management that I've done, but just a how-to guide. So yeah, that's just that. But yeah, just let's lock in the right way. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and I guess we actually kind of touched on risk management that whole second, that when we talked about the Nvidia trade, that was what that was mainly about. If that trade, if you for that particular trade, yeah, we kind of covered that in that trade. So where to cut the trade, and that's where you managing your risk. But then everybody got their different parameters. Some people aren't going to just do that. Me, I don't care if it's 10% or 20% or 30%. If the structure breaks at 5%, I'm cutting the trade. You know what I'm saying? Because the structure broke down. I mean, the mission failed. And, it's like I said, we're going to rob the bank. And we say, well, the vault needs to be open and security has to be on lunch break. And we go here and the vault isn't open. There's nothing we can do. The mission is over. It failed. You can't just force this trade at this point. It's time to go and, live the trade another day. Same thing here. But yeah. So any other thoughts on that or about that? Sorry that we spent so much time on it, but it's important. That's risk management is the most important thing in this to me. But yeah. All right, cool. So let's hop right in the chart since we're already here. So I'm gonna start with since we were already on deck, I'm gonna start there. So yeah, so this was a trade from last week, and plenty of you probably remember this particular trade and what happened with this and how the stock did. So yeah, so the stock, they had earnings last week, and I was already in an earnings trade on this particular stock. And sorry, I was just reading the chat and I just saw some questions on the other side about the trade. And sorry, just looking at this here. Okay, cool. Sorry, just looking at this. But yeah, so their shoe brands and Uggs had, they had saw a lot of growth in them, and they beat and they raised guidance. And it was a big beat and a big raise. So the stock just it broke and it ran. So like check this out. This was the original play on deck for me. And I'm just gonna make this one chart for a sec. All right, there we go. I love a bullish flag, man. This is a wrong chart, wrong chart, wrong chart. Here we go. All right. So look, so this is where it was before. So this is what made me one of the part of the reasons why I kind of traded this. So this was where deck finished the night before the earnings print, right at the 200 moving average. That's where it finished and ended up breaking up, and it ran like a bat out of hell, right? So like I said that morning, that you know the before I alerted the trade, because again, like I told you, I was managing a lot of positions. I was already in the earnings, so I had that trade, and it was up like several 100%. So I did let the team know, and I know some of my snipers took action. When it opened here, it started to move up, but then it came back down. And when it got here, I said it's likely to bounce off the breakout area. So as soon as it got here, I posted a chart in the chat that showed that breakout area right here. This the wedge breakout area where it was bouncing off of, and that was an opportunity for, to make a move on it even before I alerted anything, because again, because I was in some trades, like I said already, but yeah, long story short, we got a big move in the market. Everything kind of came back down, but my targets for this they still remain the same. So this is how we're going to look at this particular chart now, because we're going to go right into this. So calls over 172.57 for a move. And my target would be 177.67. That would be that target still for this particular play. Now, if we were to lose 164, I'm looking for a move back down to 161.66, and then 158.81, and then possibly down here to this is a bullish gap fill area here at one sec. At what is that? Well, actually, before I fill that, I would fill this first at 155. So yeah, so it's a few targets, but it's likely to hold up depending on what happens. We'll see how the Asian futures market performs tonight, considering everything that happened with the war, with the not actual war yet, but they are at war. So it's not world war yet, but I don't know what's going to happen to this. Hopefully it just kind of blows over, but yeah, we'll see what the market does. But this is sitting nice. I thought it was a pretty solid bounce and a way to reclaim this area. Now look at the weekly chart. The weekly tells, it gives you a clearer picture of the story. Beautiful weekly chart, right? Close over support, over resistance and everything. Really, really nice chart. So yeah, deck is in play. It is in play. And then we got that, look at the oscillator bar here on the MACD on the weekly also. Pretty solid trade, and look like it has a lot more run in it. I have a few targets on here. So yeah, so keep this one on watch. Keep this one on watch. Next up is, and again, these aren't in any particular order. I'm just hitting the charts that I got lined up to hit. And so look, it's a lot of things we aren't going to discuss here because like many of our members aren't here. So what I plan to do is we're going to have a few Zoom calls this week, because again, we got a lot of important things to discuss this week with 30% of the S&P 500 reporting. So what's going to end up happening is we're going to have a few, like I said, even maybe on some days where I normally wouldn't even have Zoom, we're going to have a few Zoom meetings because I have a lot to talk about that I want to talk to in real time with my team. and make sure that that my new members are able to follow along, and that they're not going to be out here, that they're not going to be crashing out. So we're going to have this is going to be a great week, man. I'm feeling good about this week, but like I said, there are a few things, there are some stocks that people think we're going to play that we aren't going to play this week. But that's just how the cards play, how the cards line themselves out. But like I said, just like how we did with Tesla, um, whatever plays that we decide to play, I plan on, but actually I plan on having verbal conversation with you all on Zoom, and I'll be able to answer any questions and give y'all exactly what I'm planning to do. And like I said the other night, and scare the hell out of you for for the trades that I'm deciding not to play. I want to give y'all the reasons why I'm not playing them, so y'all don't lose any money either, right? So yeah, so it's a lot of things we aren't going to discuss here on this call, but yeah, but let me see. But yeah, so for Tesla, this was a beautiful breakout and continuation, and it's given the 300 vibe that we've been looking for a while now. You see, but we got some levels that we need to clear though, because look here, this July, the highs of July 2024, we're closing in on those highs, and if we can break through, then we got action. So right now, what I'm looking for is if we can break through 270. So 270, then my target would be 271.35 and then 276.60. Those are the targets for Tesla. Now, again, but if we were to lose 255, I'm just going to give it some margin, 255, then I'm looking for a move down to 252.63, 249.19. And let me see where my 50 EMA is, because that's important to me, and I need to know exactly where it is. Okay, we got a ways away from that. All right, cool. So yeah, but Tesla looks pretty good. I like the way it looks, and I'm really feeling the vibe on this particular chart. So yeah, let's keep Tesla on watch. Move on here. Amazon chart. I like this chart. We talked about this last week, and we, remember there was a trade that I had the team in, and we ended up cutting it up like it was like 20 something percent. We ended up cutting it at, because it was in profit, but it just didn't look like it was going to hold up, and we were moving on to something bigger. But I want y'all to pay attention to it. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I need Amazon to break through this 190, and if it breaks through 190, then we got some targets we can hit, starting with the obviously we're going to go up to 191.30, then we're going to go up with the 195. That's the target. But we've been having some trouble with this resistance here, and as you see, we have broke out that day. Yeah, here it is right here, the 18th. We broke out, but it was a head fake. So I cut the trade. Before it turned negative or anything. And plus we were going to focus on another trade. And I said that because it was Friday and we were planning to swing it if it was going to close above the breakout area. It did not. And ever since, it's been going up there, and it's been head fake in this area. Even as late as Friday, it did it again. Came up head fake and came back down again. So this is the same area we're looking for a breakout at right now for Amazon. So calls over 190.45 for a move to 195. So we can get a breakout over there. So say 195.45. Then the first target is obviously going to be our 191.16. That's going to be the first target that I'm looking to get to on there, that gap fill area. But I'll say 191.50, my bad, and then 195. Now, if we were to lose 187.53, I'm looking for a move back down to, I'm sorry, we were to lose 187.30. I'm looking for a move down to 184. What is that? I'm sorry, 186.18, and then 184.80 will be my two targets for this. So it's been trading in this area, and it's been having some trouble breaking through. So we're going to see what Amazon can do, and we're going to go from there. Now, this PayPal chart here, we got one. It's almost like, so we got a little breakout here, this little flag that it was forming here, still holding up here, and it's still heading back towards this gap area here. So just look, I want to show y'all something first. Weekly chart. So this is the weekly chart. And it's just been moving. It's been on a move. It's been on a move, but that's the area that it's heading towards, looks like. So if we can, oops, hold on one sec. If we can get a move, we can get over 82. If we can get over 82.80, I'm looking for a move back up into 84, 83. That's a gap fill area. Let me just make sure that I have that area listed here. It's been a while, man. Yeah, so we got that area up there. We got, sorry, one second. I knew something was off with that. I knew it was off. There we go. Yeah, so 85. That's a pretty significant move we break out. Now, I just don't like when stocks run up like this. So it looked like but we did, if you see it's been kind of trading around this 9 EMA here on the daily. So and we finished with an inverse hammer. Let's just see what happens. Like I said, over that target. Well, actually, I'm gonna say you like this. The first target should be over 82.80. Let's go to the top of the gap fill area. So I'm gonna be looking for a move up here, up into the up to 80, 83, 83.40 up in there. I'll mark these levels off. If we were to lose 81.40, then I'm looking for a move back down to the 9 EMA. That's where it's been going. That's at 80, 84. And again, like this is it's a pretty standard trade right here. And then my next target would be 80.32 on PayPal. But this setup on this, man, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. Just going over a few charts. Now, Google was a trade last week. I was telling y'all last week that it was a pretty solid trade, and the chart was pretty good on it, and it woke up again. So you see, once we reclaimed the 200 EMA, 200 moving average on Google, it's been bouncing off of this. We got a nice bounce there. We reclaimed the 9 EMA and the 50. We got the 9 crossing over the 50, and we got a little wedge forming here. So let's see what Google is going to do here. So Google, this is another stock that reports earnings this week or whatever. Now, Google can be tricky. Google can be very tricky, and they hit or miss. So, like the fact that they don't have earnings until Tuesday evening, I'm just saying this could be a nice run-up trade if we can break out of here. We've been getting resistant. We've been getting rejected here for a little while, but there are a few levels that we could actually hit here on this Google chart. So like I said, we're gonna keep this one on watch, but I'm just marking up some stuff. So yeah, we can get over 160, 165, 59. I'm looking for a move to 167.72. Now remember, we hit our targets on Friday that we were looking for, and it was a pretty good move on Google. Now Google doesn't move a whole lot in a day, so it's just one of those stocks where you kind of gotta be careful with. And then my second target would be this bearish gap fill up here at the 170.25 level. Now, if we were to lose 163.42, I'm looking for a move back down here to 162.70 and then down to 161.16. So keep Google on watch. There's a nice setup on it though, and but those contracts move very slowly. So just only trade it if it actually had momentum and volume and it breaks out, and look for a setup on a lower time frame. Let me see what the weekly looks like on Google. Oh, we got a nice bullish engulfing on the weekly on here. Okay, see what happens though. One sec. There we go. QQQ. It's going to be very important this week. QQQ is going to be very important this week, considering the S&P 500 and big tech, everything. So yeah, we got a pretty big move on Friday, but it gave it all back when that news came, or whatever was going on behind the scenes with the war. We found out later, but so over 520, so 500.28, right? We get over that level, then I'm looking for a move back to 503.52, which is the all-time high for QQQ. Now, if we were to lose that 494.43, then I'm looking for a move back down to 492.76 and then 491.33 and possibly further. But let's just keep that one on watch again. It's going to be very important. Now look at this. after that move, after they gave the whole move back, this is still how we finished with this volume like this. They were not letting it break down too much. They just got it back below the breakout point, that resistance. And yeah, but this is going to be a pretty big it's going to be pretty big this week with all of these stocks reporting earnings. We go over to IWM. IWM, man, small cap stocks. We got a bearish engulfing with a 222 reversal after rejecting the 90 in May. So, this kind of came back and came right back down here to the support though. And that's why I'm pointing this out right now. So we got IWM. It came back down here, retested support. And so if it bounces, it's two ways to look at this, because we can play a trigger for calls where if it breaks out of if it breaks over 221.97, I'm looking for 221.97, then we'll be looking for a move back up here to 224.80 and then possibly higher, right? But or you can play it off of a bounce. If it actually holds this level and bounce, you can just play it off of that, play it up to the 90 in May or whatever. So it bounce off of this. Now, if we were to lose 218.52, my first target would be the 50 EMA at 217.92. And then my next target would be down here at 216.82. So yeah, keep IWM. This is an ETF that tracks the small cap stocks, the Russell 2000, and we don't talk about it as much, but it can make some big moves. Look at that big move that it made on Friday, and those contracts print. So just keep it on watch. Keep it on watch. I'm gonna hit McDonald's, man. So y'all see what happened with the E. coli breakout. They've named it to some shredded onions or something like that. And now Yum Brands and everybody else, they're pulling onions from their menu, and they're not gonna have onions on their burgers and stuff anymore because of it. But look, McDonald's, all of that noise that everything made, but McDonald's still managed to hold this support right here. Remember last quarter, McDonald's, they missed earnings, but they talked about that $5 menu that they have or whatever, and how bullish they were. So they had bullish, the guidance on it was bullish, even though they missed last quarter, and the stock ran like a bat out of hell off of that guidance alone. Stock fell off a cliff now after running up here at these highs again. So we were hitting highs again. We had a pretty big trade on this last time. So the thing is, so we want to keep this on watch. It held support. If we get a bounce here, this can be played off of a bounce, right? So first, let's cover puts first. So under 292, just going to say 292, then I'm looking for a move back down to under 292. Sorry, where did my level go? Hold on. I don't want to put a physical level here because I want to keep this chart clean. But under 292, I'm looking for a move back down here to 288. That would be the target on that. And then, possibly even lower, depending on what happens. We got 286, and then we got 281, and I'm sorry, 23, and then we got the 200 moving average down here at 279.32. But if it bounces off of this key level right here, you can play this off this bounce up to 296.48 at the 50 EMA, right? But if you just want to play it traditionally, because we did get a 222 reversal on this, wait for it to clear the 301.60, and then the first target would be 304.76. That would be our first target, right, on this, and then possibly higher up here to what is that, 311.67 and higher. So, but yeah, I like the setup on this one. I think it's primed nicely, and this is probably one of the charts of the week to watch. So just keep this on watch, and yeah, that's where I'm at with that one. I'm gonna move over to Uber, another chart that's holding a support right now after breaking back down. So it came back down here to support, and it's holding its support. I think it looked nice. I like this little although we lost the 90 EMA, couldn't get back up, and I like how it's just it's setting up nicely. Just got a nice little setup on it here. And so if we're able to, and just a short play, whatever, but if we're able to clear 78.84, looking for a move up to this this gap fill area, this bearish gap fill at the 79.83, that would be the first target. And then we got another target up here, higher up here at 81. And then we got another gap fill up here at 81.90. That's where I'm looking for. So, but now on the put side, if we were to lose 76.96, I'm looking for a move down to 75.61 at the 50 EMA. So again, just keep this one on watch. And there are other targets, but that's the first target. And that's the one we'll be looking for right there. The second one would be 74.14. That's another one to keep on watch. And PDD, saw this morning, well, this afternoon when I was going over the flow, and this happened to be on there. And I said, I'm going to take a look at it and see what's up with it when we get here. So came and hit this one. And yeah, so PDD sitting right here. And it kind of, yeah, it kind of it's kind of right there, but it's barely, but it did. It reclaimed it. I can't say it didn't because it did. 1 second. I'm just gonna put a level there anyhow because we should put one there for PDD because it's important. It's important. So yeah, we got a gap fill here, but let's just look and see what's going on. Kind of 222 reversal, but it's just a little bye-bye sold off too. So this kind of moved in sympathy with bye-bye a lot of times. One over 125.05. Then I'm looking for a move back up to 124.05. Sorry, look for a move back up to 126 and then possibly up to 127.73 and then 129.71. Again, we got a lot of EMAs up there that it needs to get back up above. Now, if we were to lose 221, it's gonna call it 221, give us some margin, then we got some ways down that we could possibly go. Cause this is like it's in a very dangerous spot right now. This could be a nice move down if it flushes down all the way down here to like 113. What is that? 113.94 to close that gap. So PDD, I like when we got a stock that can actually give us something to work with if it was to break down. So, but it's holding support right now. So don't let it trick you out. And let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, you can see how clear it is, like how it's holding that level right there on the weekly. We've got an inverse hammer with a 222. What is that? A 222 reversal, but at the same time, it's still holding a support. And as long as it's holding that key support, that's what matters the most to me. Now, let me switch over to our 1 second. Hold on. Switch this back over. So look, so we got a lot of economic data this week. So we don't have any Fed speakers because this is a blackout week ahead of our next FOMC. So we got that blackout week, no Fed speakers, which is great, but we got so much economic data. It's crazy. So on Tuesday, we got consumer confidence at 10 a.m. And then we also got JOLTS data. So the job openings, we'll have them at 10 a.m. on Tuesday as well. We got the ADP payrolls on Wednesday. We got GDP on Wednesday, which is very important. We got pending home sales Wednesday and jobless claims on Thursday, but we got PCE data on Thursday also. So that's going to be really, really important for us to watch, pay attention to. Employment cost index. We got Chicago PMI Thursday. But Friday's jobs data is going to be very important. And I wonder how many revisions we're going to get on this jobs data. So but let me see. Hold up. Go back to Wednesday. Okay, cool. I just hope PCE data doesn't do anything weird. But this is a lot of volatility that we'll probably get in the market, and while we got earnings going on too. So it's a lot to look forward to for this upcoming week, man. And again, like I said, look, I'm there for y'all this week, man. We're gonna be locked in on Zoom a lot, and even on the days where I would typically wouldn't be on Zoom. If you got questions, look, Potato Trader, he's going to make some appearances. We got some other surprises and stuff like that. So just make sure y'all locked in this week. I got a lot of stuff to discuss. Like I said, and listen, let's be clear. I was not going to get on this call and discuss a whole bunch of earnings because, again, me, it's a lot. I make a lot of decisions as far as playing earnings, based on if other pieces fall into place. And if they don't, then we don't play them at all. And if they do, then we do play them. And then I kind of got, I got things put in place to make sure that we handle things accordingly. And but there were some questions about, if if certain trades would be alerted to the entire team. Like last week, I alerted a Tesla earnings play to the entire team. Yeah, if things fall into place, and if I do decide to play certain stocks, then there will be some things in it for the team. I like to share the wealth, and plus I'm like this. Look, man, as long as I put everything out there and put the risk management parameters in place, and I know what's going on, then I'm a stand. I'd rather do that. I don't want to. I rather, if there's an opportunity to put the team in a nice earnings play to end the month with a bang, then I will do so. So just look out for that. But if you are one of our Premium Plus members and you are on, make sure you get on Zoom this week. We're going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be a lot of stuff on Zoom that never touch the chat, because I can go into greater detail and give you and answer all of your questions. But then there will be some stuff, some trades and stuff that are in the chat, obviously. So yeah, but that's how we're gonna close it, man. Again, thank y'all for hopping on. Sorry for us going over a little bit, but I wanted to make sure we got those lessons learned covered. And look, let's get ready for a great week, and I will see y'all soon. Cheers.
Have a great week.